Beneath the endless expanse of the Arabian desert, the destiny of Mecca was being shaped by visionary figures whose legacies would echo through the ages. Long ago, Qusay reclaimed Mecca from rival tribes, forging a political order that enabled the Quraysh to rise to power. From his noble line came Hashim, a man celebrated for his wealth, generosity, and the far-reaching expansion of trade routes. Hashim not only built alliances with distant kings, but he also established enduring ties with regions such as Yemen and Yathrib. In a bid to secure a bright future for his clan, Hashim married a woman from Yathrib, later known as Medina, ensuring that his descendant would carry connection to both lands. After passing away during a trade journey to Gaza and being laid to rest there, Hashim left behind a son in Yathrib known as Shayba for his streak of white hair, a symbol of wisdom even in youth. Raised away from the bitter rivalries of the Quraysh, young Shayba's destiny was soon intertwined with the fate of Mecca. In a dramatic twist of fate, his uncle recognized his potential and brought him back to his ancestral home. Arriving with a young boy, the people of Mecca mistakenly assumed he was a slave under his uncle's care, and thus he came to be known as Abdul Muttalib, a name that would eventually be synonymous with his steadfast leadership, wisdom, and unwavering devotion to the Kaaba. At this pivotal time, Makkah's spiritual life revolved around the Kaaba, a sacred sanctuary believed to have been built by Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail. Yet one crucial element of that ancient heritage had been lost for generations: the well of ZamZam. Tradition holds that when the Jurham tribe abandoned Mecca, they deliberately concealed this life-giving well to prevent its blessing from falling into the enemy hands. Over time, its exact location faded into legends, recounted in poems and whispered in fireside stories, yet unseen by the living eyes. Then, at that crucial juncture, Allah chose to bestow His favor upon Abdul Muttalib, a man whose destiny was about to become the center of every conversation in Mecca. As he walked through the bustling streets of the city, there was an unmistakable air of anticipation surrounding him. He was already a respected figure in Mecca, well known for his leadership, wisdom, and unwavering integrity. He held the position of the custodian of the Kaaba, an honor that brought both the respect and the responsibilities. As the recognized head of the clan, Abdul Muttalib not only guided Mecca in matters of daily governance, but also safeguarded the city's spiritual heritage. Many in Mecca looked to him for judgment and counsel. Confident in his far-minded approach, he was known to stand firm against injustice, resolving tribal disputes with calm wisdom. By blending strong leadership with a gentle heart, Abdul Muttalib embodied the ideals that many Meccans admired, paving the way for greater responsibilities that destiny would soon place upon him. One night, Abdul Muttalib had a remarkable dream, instructing him to dig near the Kaaba to find a hidden source of water. According to some accounts, this dream repeated itself on 3 consecutive nights, underscoring its importance. He spoke about this dream in front of the Meccans, but the idea of disturbing such a revered site sparked skepticism among many Meccans. Abdul Muttalib's resolve never wavered. Emboldened by these repeated dreams, he gathered his family and set forth to unearth this hidden source of water. Accompanied by his only son Harith, Abdul Muttalib took up his shovel, and under the scorching desert sun they began to excavate. The Quraysh mocked his efforts, dismissing the possibility of any miracle after so many generations. Yet, day after day, father and son toiled, their determination growing with each strike of the tool. And then, with one decisive blow, the earth yielded a fresh, bubbling spring, a long-forgotten miracle revived before the astonished eyes of the gathered crowd. The water, once believed to have flowed for Ismail centuries before, was now flowing for the sons of Ismail centuries later, rekindling Mecca's sacred connection to its Abrahamic roots. However, this miraculous event was soon met with contention. The Quraysh, recognizing the well's significance, demanded control over this newfound blessing. Tensions flared, and Abdul Muttalib was forced to defend his claim. With unyielding conviction, he declared that the Kaaba was under divine protection and that he alone had unearthed its life-giving water. As the dispute grew heated, the Quraysh resolved to consult a priestess for guidance. They set out to consult this woman, and yet fate played its hand once more. Their caravan became lost in the unforgiving desert. And in their desperation, they even began to dig their own graves. At the very moment when Abdul Muttalib himself began to despair, almost to the point that he was digging his own grave, another source of water miraculously emerged. This powerful sign made it clear to all that ZamZam was meant for Abdul Muttalib. And soon the rival tribes conceded, returning to Mecca in submission of his claims. The rediscovery of ZamZam reawakened Mecca's reverence for its holy heritage. Abdul Muttalib, standing among the Quraysh, soared. They saw in him a leader graced by divine grace. From that moment, pilgrims and residents alike quenched their thirst at ZamZam. This ancient gift became central to Mecca's economy and its spiritual practices, restoring a vital link to the city's Abrahamic roots. Despite his esteem, Abdul Muttalib faced a profound personal burden. He yearned for more sons to strengthen his family's presence in Mecca. Sons were seen as the protectors of the father's legacy, ensuring continuity in the society where clan strength mattered immensely. In his deep desire, Abdul Muttalib made a solemn vow. If Allah granted him 10 healthy sons who survive into adulthood, he would sacrifice one of them as a token of gratitude. In that era, such a promise was not unheard of. Time passed and fortune smiled upon him. One by one, his sons were born, each adding to his blessings and responsibilities. Eventually, the day arrived when the 10th son stood tall before him, full of promise. The vow he had uttered years ago now weighed heavily on his consciousness. He believed he had no choice but to fulfill what he saw as a covenant with the divine.
Abdul Muttalib's sons had grown into capable young men, each bearing the potential to guide Makkah's future. The youngest among them, Abdullah, was especially cherished for his striking appearance and dignified character. Under the vow's term, however, lots had to be cast to decide which son would be offered as a sacrifice. With an air of tense solemnity, the family gathered before the Kaaba. Arrows bearing the names of Abdul Muttalib's sons were placed in a container. The lot that emerged would seal one young man's fate. The arrow was drawn, and Abdullah's name appeared. A hush descended, though many pleaded, insisting that the vow was too extreme. Abdul Muttalib's sense of honor refused to let him renege. The people admired Abdullah. Many saw him as the bright future of their tribe. Fearing the loss of such a promising young man, they implored Abdul Muttalib to find another path. After their urging, he sought out a renowned she soothsayer, a woman whose expertise in divination was widely respected. She advised that instead of sacrificing Abdullah directly, Abdul Muttalib should offer camels in his place, adding 10 camels to the pool each time the arrow continued to point to Abdullah. Following her counsel, he cast the lots again. The arrow still singled out his son, Abdullah. With each repetition, the number of camels increased by 10, until at last the total reached 100. Only then did the arrow finally fall upon the camels instead of Abdullah. Relieved and grateful, Abdul Muttalib fulfilled his vow by sacrificing the camels, sparing his beloved son and preserving his honor. Makkans greeted this outcome with celebrations. The vow was fulfilled, yet the precious human life had been saved. In the annals of Arab memory, Abdullah would be remembered both as the son of the two sacrifices, referring also to his ancestor Ismail, and as a man whose fate was tightly bound to a divine plan. Not long after, Abdullah married Amina bint Wahab, and from that union would come a child that would change the course of history.